Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Lorena. Hello, Irina. We are here at the events delivering excellent customer service during difficult times. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And we have quite a few people registered. Some of them may not be able to make it. Some are just coming on. So we're just going to allow a few more minutes for people to join on. But we are going to kick off the session, and I'm going to hand over to Irina, who is going to introduce me, and then I'm going to kick the session off, and we're going to get into some really amazing practical things that you can do as a customer service professional, as someone working in a contact center, and we'll go from there. So I'll hand over to you, Irina.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm happy to see all of you. My name is Irina Velichka. I am a president of the Ukrainian Contact Center Association International, and our association now starting our first online training in English. So I would like to introduce our trainer, Rachel Williams, one of the most popular person in the UK ethics training market. Rachel is a seasoned training consultant, writer, and speaker who helps frontline teams to deliver exceptional customer experience. Rachel is a top 25 global ethics influencer in 2023 and 2024, and contributor to mycustomer.com, CXM, and Call Center Help magazine. She worked in the financial sector, in services, in government services, and retail for over 15 years, which has given her a large amount of professional experience involving clients and customers. Rachel started the Experience Corporation to provide service to elevate the customer experience for corporate clients. Previous clients include the UK's National Health Service and the Atlas Building London. Now she prepared special training to Ukrainians, and I hope nearest hour will be very interesting and helpful for us. So Rachel, you can continue our conversation.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Irina. And thank you so much for everyone who is joining us today and wherever you are in the world. As Irina mentioned, this is for anyone working in a contact center. I know that we have most of the people that are joining today will be from the Ukraine, but it's also for anyone who has a professional interest in customer service, customer experience, and also contact centers. So let's kick off with a little bit of Zoom etiquette. By the way, I'm from the UK, as you can tell from the British accent. And no, I do not like cups of tea. I like coffee. So just to put it out there. So Zoom best practices, this is a live interactive event. So we are recording because the recording will be sent out to everybody who registered. So please feel free to have your cameras on so we can speak to each other, just like as if it were an actual training session where we were face to face. But I also understand some people have, work going on and all of those things. But do feel free to turn the camera on. Please mute your Zoom whilst I am speaking or whilst anyone's speaking. And in terms of questions, if you have any questions about what I am sharing, please use the chat function. You can type your question in there at any point, and then towards the end of the session, we will have some time to go over any questions that anybody has. Okay, so let's kick off. I'm just going to share my screen, and I'm going to hope that there are no Zoom issues with the sharing. So everybody pray for me. Just joking. Okay, let me share my screen. Bear with me. Okay, so you should be able to see that now. Lovely.
Yes,
Okay.
can see clearly.
Lovely. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so delivering excellent customer experiences during difficult times. As we are all aware, there is a very difficult time going on in the Ukraine at the moment, but it may not be that that particular situation is applicable to you because you may be dialing in from somewhere else. But I think we can all agree that we all go through difficult times. but work still goes on, life still goes on. It may be that you've gone through a challenging circumstance with your family, in a relationship, in your finances, or something on a bigger scale like what is happening in the Ukraine. But regardless of that, work still has to go on. Customer service still needs to be great to serve whoever it is we are helping, and whoever our business or our organization is serving. And that's why this event is so important and so timely. You may not be in a country where there's a state of war, but I think we can all agree that as we get older, as we're adults, life does happen. So today, in delivering excellent customer experiences during difficult times, we're going to be covering off 3 core things. Okay. There are 3 parts to this masterclass, and we are going to end the class after an hour. So we should be done at UK time. It will be at 2 p.m. Ukrainian time, it will be 4 p.m. So there are 3 parts to the class. Part 1 is about motivation. And we're going to be learning how to motivate your customer-facing staff during a national crisis. Now, this may be a pandemic, a state of war, anything of that nature. But you can also apply this section of motivation to individuals who are going through some kind of personal challenge. Part number 2 is all about skills. So you're going to learn the top 3 skills which contact center agents need to deliver exceptional customer experiences whilst under pressure. Now, that can also be people working in retail or any customer-facing role. And finally, we're going to look at well-being. We're going to look at how to promote mental well-being in a contact center or in a customer-facing role for staff, and how this can improve the customer experiences which your team are providing. Sound good, everyone? I hope you're excited. I'm going to make it as fun as possible. All right, before we kick off and get into the meat of everything, I just want to know, I'm going to do a little bit of an icebreaker. Can you tell me, you can put it in the chat, what is your favorite hot drink? As you can see on there, mine is 100% a flat white coffee. So type in the chat, tell me what is your favorite hot drink? And then, Irina, if you could read them out for me. I think you're on mute. So
coffee vanilla latte or caramel macchiato.
Oh, nice. That
I
is
like cappuccino.
Cappuccino. Right. So we're all going to Starbucks then, clearly. Or we need to all have an espresso machine. All right, lovely. So that was just a little bit of an icebreaker. So let's move on. Okay, so on the screen, you should be able to see a quote. And the quote says, "Tough times don't last, tough people do." And that is by Robert Schuller. And I'm opening up with this quote to set the tone of the event and to provide some mental encouragement for you, because you yourself may be navigating a personal crisis, but you still have bills to pay. You still need to have a job. So let's read that out again. Tough times don't last, tough people do. So just let that sink in. Now let's move on to the meat of the class, and we're going into part 1, which is all about motivation. So to remind you, the learning outcome for this particular section is how to motivate your customer-facing staff during a national crisis or when they're going through a tough time. Now, the first thing I'd like to cover off is, why is this so important? Well, higher employee motivation results in 3 core things. Number 1 is increased productivity. Number 2, you're going to have 41% less absence in the workplace. And finally, they are more likely, so staff or yourself, you're more likely to deliver excellent customer interactions if you're motivated. But the big question here is, how can we achieve this goal? How can we motivate our staff? And there are 3 things that you can do. We have company vision, a Monday meeting, and one-to-ones. And let's dive into each of those concepts. So remember, we're thinking about how can we motivate our teams or individuals or even ourselves when navigating a national crisis such as a pandemic or a war-torn country, or something such as financial difficulties a person may be going through, just having a baby, things like that. So company vision. Remind your employees of your organization's vision, mission, and values, and how they fit into this and do this on a regular basis. So you need to have that ability to cast vision. So let's say you're working in a utilities company and your company provides water to the nation and your staff work in that contact center. You need to be constantly reminding your staff why it's so important that they give great service and how it fits into the wider vision. So cast that vision and be specific. Talk about what that utility company's vision is, their mission, and their values. You also want to share with your team how much of a difference they are making to your customers by doing their job. But you can tie that in when you're casting vision. The second thing you can do is what I call the Monday meeting or Monday motivation. So hold a short meeting on a Monday morning for up to 20 minutes. And during this meeting, you really want to encourage your team to stay positive, regardless of what's going on. You want to praise them as well for doing a good job and encourage them to stay strong during difficult times. Share examples of when individuals have done some good work, such as going the extra mile for a customer. In the meeting, you can also celebrate individuals by providing prizes and awards. And the result of the Monday meeting really should be that it creates a sense of community with your team, and also staff will have something to look forward to on a Monday. So going back to that point, how do we motivate our team members, individuals, when going through something tough? In that Monday meeting, make it a point of encouragement, make it a time of positivity, make it a time of praise, and people are going to actually look forward to coming to that meeting. The next thing you can do is one-to-one meetings. So most companies have something set up where managers will meet with their team members on a regular basis. But just to kind of reiterate that fact, you should definitely, as a manager, as a leader, have regular one-to-one meetings with each team member at least once a month. And each team member should have a clear progression route on how they're going to reach their career goals. So regardless of what's going on in the outside world, people still have dreams, aspirations, and goals. And as a customer service leader, you want to connect with your team on that level. So make sure in those meetings you are discussing their progression and discussing their progression plan, and make sure they're on track to meet their individual goals. You can also have an open ear. An open ear is where you let your team members know that whatever they're going through personally, however the crisis, the situation, their individual challenges are impacting them, you have an ear to listen to them and to be available to help them. And when they have shared anything that they're going through, make sure to signpost them to any company resources and demonstrate empathy. You can do this by offering kind words. So for example, if somebody has just had a baby, for example, and they're trying to navigate that alongside something that's going on in the wider world, you can really tell them that, yes, you've just had a child, but you're going to be a great mom. Encourage that person, or you're going to be a great dad. Provide that verbal encouragement because it goes a long way. Okay, now we're going to move on to part 2. So part 2 is all about skills. So you might want to write some stuff down in this section. A good friend of mine said a long pencil is better than a short ear. I think I've got that right. Feel free to correct me in the chat if I've got that wrong. A long pencil is better than a short ear. I think that's what it is. So part number 2 is all about skills. To remind you of our learning outcome here, it is the following. We're going to learn the top skills which contact center agents or customer-facing staff need to deliver exceptional customer experiences whilst under pressure. Now, why is this super important right now? Your agents have certain soft skills which enable them to deliver great customer experiences. However, there's always room for improvement. There's always room for us to get better and to upskill ourselves. So the more upskilled your staff are, the better experiences they are going to be able to provide. So I want to know in the chat, can you guess the top 3 skills that customer-facing staff, contact center agents need in order to deliver great service whilst under pressure? So let me know in the chat what you think. Tell me a couple. Let's have a look.
Empathy.
Empathy. Yeah, that's a great
Empathy.
one. Excellent. That's a good one.
Feelings.
Yeah, feelings. That's good. Okay, let me reveal them to you. It's the big reveal.
Problem resolution skills. Next one.
Yeah, problem. Yes, definitely. So I wouldn't say there are just 3 skills. There are many skills. Like somebody mentioned, there's empathy, there's problem solving, all of these things. I whittled it down to the 3 which I think will have the most impact when a person or a nation are navigating a crisis. So the first one is emotional resilience. Now, I am married to a man, obviously, and my husband will tell me that sometimes I'm a little bit emotional. So I've had to learn how to have emotional resilience, even just in my home. But what is emotional resilience? Well, the definition is, and this has come from a bit of research that I did, but emotional resilience is the ability to adapt to stressful situations, challenges, or adversity while maintaining emotional balance and mental well-being. Anyone here who would like to be more emotionally resilient? Is it just me? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. So it involves effectively managing negative
One
emotions.
moment. Camila wrote this in an all-encompassing top 3.
Yes, all encompassing top 3. Thank you so much. Fantastic. So yeah, emotional resilience, it involves effectively managing negative emotions such as stress, anxiety, or sadness, and bouncing back from difficult experiences. Okay, here's the big question. How can we develop emotional resilience as we're working with customers? Here are 2 key things that you and your staff can do. Number 1 is to fill your cup. So think of yourself as a cup who needs to pour out every day in order to do your job well. However, you cannot pour from an empty cup. It's impossible. So during tough times, it's very important to do things that fill your cup. Here are a few examples. Quiet moments of reflection. So we all mentioned we like a good coffee. Take some time to have that coffee moment when there's no noise around you and where it's just a time of peace. It can be a set time in the morning, perhaps in the evening, but take some time for quiet reflection. Another thing that you can do is read books, but read books that have a positive influence. So don't go for murder mysteries or books about war if you're in a season of crisis, but rather read books that have a positive influence, such as self-help books, books about faith, and biographies of people who have overcome tough obstacles. So the next thing you can do is have a positive mindset. Now, you may think, oh, but the thoughts you have, your mindset, you don't have any control over it. Well, actually, studies show that we have a lot more control over what we think about in our mindsets than we actually have maybe been led to believe. So whatever you put your focus on is going to grow. If you focus on negative things and what you have lost, this can lead to anxiety and depression. So focus on the things you do have, even if it feels like it's a little. Be thankful and have gratitude, because that is going to result in a boost in mood and it's going to help you to be emotionally resilient. So take some time. Maybe you want to set some time aside once a month, once a week, and you can keep a gratitude journal. You can focus on the fact that you have running water, you have food to eat. Yes, there may be, for those in the Ukraine, I understand that you can hear literally the bombing, the shelling, all of those things, and I'm not taking away from that. But remember that quote we shared at the beginning: tough times don't last, but tough people do. So those are a couple of things that you can do for emotional resilience. The second skill is positive communication. And the definition of that is communicating with positive words, an uplifting tone of voice, and open body language. Now, how can you develop the skill of positive communication? There's one golden rule. Now, let's think about those who are working in a contact center. The golden rule is the following: when speaking with a customer, never tell them what you can't do for them, because you can always do something. Have you ever been on the phone and you need to get something done. You need to sort out car insurance. Maybe you need to phone your children's school, or maybe you're speaking to an airline, something like that. And the person on the other end of the phone, all they're doing is telling you, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. How frustrating is that? That is the epitome of poor customer service. So you don't want to do that. Always tell the customer what you can do for them. Because if you tell them what you can't do, it makes them feel defeated and deflated. So focus on personalized solutions for that customer and explain to them how you can help them, even if that means you have to refer them to another organization or even a competitor. The next thing you can do for positive communication is tone, all about your tone of voice. So ensure to use a positive tone of voice and avoid sounding negative and bland. So put some effort into your tone of voice so that you sound engaging. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I work at a bank called ABC Bank, and somebody calls me just to do some general banking. I'm going to do 2 greetings, and I want you to just think about which one sounds better when thinking about tone of voice. Okay, here is example 1. Good morning, you're through to ABC Bank. How can I help you today? Here is example 2. Good morning, you're through to ABC Bank. I'm so glad you've called today. How is it I can help you? So just show of hands, who could hear the difference in that the tone of voice made? Show of hands.
Yep.
Fantastic. So you want to focus on your tone of voice, make it uplifting, make it engaging. Even if your personality is not like, completely bubbly and all of those things, you can still put that effort in for your tone of voice. The final thing you can do for positive communication is proactivity. So develop yourself into becoming solution-minded and helpful towards your customers. You know your organization more than your customers do, so always provide helpful and useful advice when appropriate. Find the solutions they're looking for and do this in a quick and efficient manner. So this can be done by continuous learning of any new product or service changes, shadowing other callers who are good on the phone, and by getting 1% better with each interaction with customers. So when we're thinking about proactivity, you want to be the person that says, I can do this, I can find a solution for my customer. And it takes a bit more effort than just sort of saying, oh, if a challenging query comes your way, it's very easy to say, I can't help you, or I don't know how to do that. But someone who's proactive will find a way to find out how they can help that customer, even if that means they need to put them on hold for a moment, or if they need to call them back once they find a solution to the problem. Okay, skill number 3 is professionalism. So the definition of professionalism is the following. It's the combination of all the qualities that are connected with trained and skilled people. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to be seen as trained and skilled. So how can we develop professionalism? How can we come across and become more professional? So there's a couple of things you can do. Number 1 is the words that you speak. So use professional words and phrases throughout interactions with customers on the phone or in person, and remain polite and friendly. Here are some examples of professional phrases. Number 1 is, how can I help you today? Number 2, are you enjoying the weather? If you want to do some small talk, you can talk about the weather. Is it okay if I place you on hold for just a moment? And so you want to really just be conscious of the word you're speaking, because sometimes on the phone, I've heard people just say, just you're going on hold now, or here, I'm going to pass you over. You don't want to sound like that. You want to sound polite, professional, and in control. Next thing is about personal information. So even if you're going through a tough time, there's a crisis going on around you, keep your conversations work-related and never divulge personal information. So if you're having a bad day or something is impacting you, it's really easy on the phone to forget you're at work and, start sharing things that are slightly inappropriate for the workplace. So keep everything professional. The final thing you can do is what's called matching. So matching is a technique you can use to mirror your caller's mood. This involves gauging their mood and then responding with a tailored approach. For example, if you're speaking with a customer and they are clearly stressed and unhappy, you can match this with a calm and reassuring voice. Another example is if a person is happy and they are telling some jokes, you can match that with an upbeat tone and you can laugh along with their jokes. So those are the top 3 skills when it comes to delivering great service when you're in a national crisis or going through a personal challenge. So emotional resilience, positive communication, and remaining professional. Let's go into part 3, which is mental well-being. So to remind you of the learning outcome for this particular section, it's the following: how to promote mental well-being in the contact center for staff. Again, this can be applied for any customer-facing role. And we're going to think about firstly, why is this important? Well, in 2022/2023, there was an estimated 875,000 workers suffering from work-related stress, depression, or anxiety, resulting in 17.1 million working days lost. That was in the UK. So there's quite a lot of information there, but basically over 17 million days that people could have been at work was actually lost in the UK due to work-related stress, depression, or anxiety. And so during a national crisis or a personal struggle, such as a state of war, a pandemic, or financial difficulty, employees are more likely to experience conditions such as burnout, anxiety, and depression. Oh, this is depressing me, but there is hope. We're going to talk about some solutions. So it's important as a customer service leader to provide support for these employees so they can provide great levels of service for customers or access the right help and support if necessary. So how can we do this? Let's get really practical. I always like to share practical solutions. So here are 3 ways to promote good mental health in the workplace. The first one is to encourage self-care. And being really specific when it comes to people who are on the front line dealing with customers, I think that they definitely need extra support because they're not just dealing with their own struggles or what's going on in the nation, they're also dealing with their customers' problems as well. And so to encourage self-care, the first thing you can do is ensure that staff are taking regular breaks. So encourage them to take breaks from their work, such as 5-minute breaks every 1.5 to 2 hours. So around every 2 hours, we should all actually be taking at least a 5-minute break because it helps to reset and gives you a little bit of rest. Next thing is water intake. So I'm going to give you a little bit of insight about water. Did you know that if you're feeling fatigued and tired, you may actually be dehydrated? So to get those symptoms of being like tired and feeling a bit groggy, it may be that you just haven't had enough water. So most health organizations recommend drinking around 6 to 8 glasses a day. And because this increases concentration, it reduces tiredness and fatigue, and it promotes good brain function. So if you're in a leadership role with your team, share this information with them. Share the fact that they should be drinking more water because it's going to help them with their day-to-day work. Next, you can encourage people to take up a hobby. Now, having a hobby may be the last thing a person wants to do if they're going through a personal crisis or navigating a national crisis. But if you encourage your team to take up a safe hobby, for those who are in a war-torn country, a safe hobby, so you don't obviously want to start running around on the front line is what I mean. But things like baking, knitting, or painting, they really do relax the mind because you're activating a part of your brain that is creative. So these are things that can relax you. And also, it can help you to take your mind off whatever it is, the crisis that you're navigating, and it can help your mind to just think about something else for a moment. So the next thing you want to do is think about setting up support groups. So you can set up support groups to help colleagues who are dealing with stressful situations. For example, you may want to set up a bereavement group for those who are dealing with the loss of loved ones due to war. Potentially, you could set up a serving family group, and that's specifically for those in the Ukraine. So, a group where anyone who has a family member, a partner who is now enlisted for war, you can set up a group to support those people. You can set up potentially a parent group for parents having to deal with additional challenges such as childcare, financial hardship, and the loss of a husband or a wife due to war. And the group should be a place of community, positivity, and support, and a safe place for your employees to go and to seek help and to relate to one another. And finally, this is a personal favorite of mine, and that is vision. So, yes, going back to that quote, there are tough times, but remember, tough times don't last. Tough people do. So you want to encourage your team members and also for yourself, you want to develop a vision. A vision is basically where you see yourself post-war or post-hardship or after, a year, 5 years, where you see yourself going in the future. So I want to encourage you personally and also to encourage your staff to develop a vision for yourselves after those in the Ukraine after the war, because it will end, after any kind of hardship that you may be going through. And this can be done by thinking about how you want your lives to look in the area of career progression, your income, your relationships, your children's future, where do you want to live, all of those types of things. And once you've got a vision, it's really important that you actually write that vision down and start thinking about how you want life to be after. And you might question, why would I do that, if I'm going through a crisis? Well, it's because wherever you see yourself going, that is exactly where you're going to go. And if you just focus on the here and now and the things that are stressful, it can actually lead back to those mental health conditions like depression and anxiety. So again, I'm not taking away from tough times. I've personally been through some very, 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 very hard situations. But what I found is that by focusing on the vision that I have for myself, my business, my family, it really helps to actually take me out of thinking about the tough things that are happening. So from a practical perspective, write down where you see yourself in a year, in 5 years, and then you want to start to set some goals. So encourage your staff members to set goals that they can begin working towards in their spare time. And they should focus on this rather than the horrible things that are going on or their challenging circumstances. So according to a study by Dr. Gail Matthews at Dominican University, if you write your goals down, you are 42% more likely to achieve them. Wow, that is almost 50%. That's a big leap. So the individuals who set time-bound goals and start weekly progress, they will report achieving higher results than those who don't. So basically, you just want to have a vision, break that down into goals, and then start making small steps, even when there's a hard situation going on. Make small steps to achieve those goals. Okay, let's move on to, I've got a little bit of an action step for everyone. So when you go back to work and you go back to your teams, and I know this is being recorded, so some people will watch this later, you can try doing something like a vision party, and you can invite your team or department to come along. So guide your group into creating a vision to think about life after the crisis, after their personal crisis, and start thinking about as a group what you can do to actually take small steps towards those goals. All right, we're going to go into a short section, which is questions and answers. So if you have got a question, then you can type it in the chat, and it can be about anything we spoke about today.
Rachel, we haven't questions, but Camilla wrote in the time of your presentation that water is life and mindset is everything. And maybe, Camilla, do you have some questions? You can tell, I think, not right.
Yeah, that's fine. You can speak. You don't have to use the chat. That's fine.
Hi, Rachel. It is so nice to be on a call with you. You don't know me, but I follow you on LinkedIn.
Oh, lovely.
So
Thank you so much.
it's lovely to have the experience with you.
100%. Thank you.
And for Una and Lorena. So my question is, from your experience, how often you think you need to do training with your staff? Should you set up like quarterly sessions or based on your needs analysis? Because sometimes, organizations look at training at time as being time that could be spent doing actual work, and they may not always see the value. But just what are some best practices? I know it may not be a one size fits all, but what are your best practices when it comes to training?
Okay, that's a brilliant question, and it's a very important question. So I think when it comes to those in a customer-facing role, for example, most of those roles are going to have induction training. So they're going to have training when they first start. But then what happens, the challenge is that between induction training and the rest of their career, training is very ad hoc. It doesn't normally have like a set schedule. But what I found in terms of best practices, you mentioned a needs analysis. I think it depends on the need of that team and what the goals are of that organization. So some organizations want to really focus on customer experience, and they want their front-facing staff to deliver great experiences on a consistent basis, and that is a priority for them. So for that organization, I would definitely recommend at least quarterly training, a formal quarterly training, and then equipping managers with tools and resources where they can do continuous coaching once a month with their team. So I think once a month is a good way to do it, but those monthly trainings can be shorter ones, and then quarterly training can be bigger. And I think if there's a specific area that a team are struggling with, such as complaint handling or telephone calls, or it could be sales, then they can have a tailored training for those specific needs. But to kind of round up the answer, I would definitely say once a quarter, in my opinion, some form of training should be given to frontline staff, to managers. And I think that whoever's within the organization should have the tools and resources to provide monthly training on different topics, because people forget things, and
yes,
it keeps the organization, it gives them an edge to have people that are highly skilled and highly trained.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
Lovely, no problem.
Excellent presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so
much. Rachel, I would like to tell that when people live under the long stress, vision is most important for them, because a lot of people, especially in the war, think that today cannot exist. Tomorrow cannot exist.
Understand.
So it's very difficult to think how we will live in 3 years or 5 years, because we don't know what can happen tomorrow. But and according with this finding, people live from day to day and not think about own possibilities to develop yourself or your career and so on, because they think only about own life. It's very strong thinking. And I think vision it's very important, because without it people can't to go across distractions inside.
100%. And the thing is, when you go through, we're not all in a country of war, but we all went through the pandemic, right? And we none of us knew when it was going to end. But going back to that quote, even if we don't know when something hard is going to end, there is always an end date to any kind of season, and like you said, it's so easy when you go through a tough time to just think about the here and now, even if it's a personal challenge you're going through. But seasons always change. And as I mentioned before, I'm a strong believer in vision. And so I would encourage anyone watching even the replay that, yes, things may be tough now, but that tough time eventually is going to end. And at the end of it, if you don't develop a vision, you won't know what your next steps are going to be. So I would, really encourage everyone to think about where they see themselves, post-war or post the challenge, and really get something down on paper to aspire to. Because when you have that, it develops hope within you as well, and you can see past the challenge. So I hope that helps. We are gonna just the last 10 minutes, we're gonna go into part 5, which is how I can help if anyone wants additional support with anything that we have spoken about. So I'd like to just share a little bit of information about a new course that I'll be launching in October, and it's called the Customer Service Accelerator. So this is for customer service professionals, customer service leaders, and customer experience professionals. And the benefits of the course are, if you want to stand out amongst your team, increase your chance of promotion, or upskill yourself in the area of customer service, then this course is for you. It's also for anyone who wants to become the go-to person in your team to deliver great service, and also to upgrade your CV. And finally, if you are watching this and you're in a leadership position, then this course, you can take the information from it and use it to empower your team to deliver service excellence consistently. So the course has 4, I don't know if you guys can all see this. Let me move, there we go. It has 4 learning outcomes. So if you want to sign up for the course and you're interested, the first thing that you'll learn is the 10 building blocks of customer service excellence and how to apply them at work. Next, you're going to be equipped with enhanced communication skills over the phone and also in person and via email. Thirdly, you'll be able to deliver exceptional customer experiences by doing what I call customer-centric communication. And finally, you will be empowered with the 6 essential skills to handle customer complaints with ease, precision, and clarity. And so the course is basically it's based on my own experience. So I used to work in financial complaint handling for the government. I've also done some work with the National Health Service in the UK. And everything I've done is really given me, exposed me to lots of customer interactions, how to deal with complaints professionally, how to work in a bank on the front line. And so I've taken all of that plus research, up-to-date research, and I've packed it all in a wonderful course. And the name, it says it in the name, Customer Service Accelerator. It's going to accelerate your ability to deliver great service. Now let's talk about the investment. I know you're wondering, how much does it cost? I want to join. Well, in UK money, it costs £297 per person. But for anybody who is working in the Ukraine, in the Ukrainian contact center, because of the national crisis, we're reducing that down to £45 per person. Or, I can't say it, so Irina, can you tell me what that says in Ukrainian? Is it hryvnia?
Irene.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if somebody would like to pay for such trainings, they can use own bank card across the special link which they can find on the site. Or maybe if you would like to pay by make the payment by company, you can ask me and we will decide this question.
Yes, perfect. So obviously we understand there are some issues with getting payments abroad and all of that. But what you can also do is there's a wait list. So if you are interested in joining the course, after this event has finished, you'll get an email just thanking you for coming. Everyone who signed up will get the email. And if you just pop your details in the wait list, then when the course is released in October, you will get the information and we can sort out payment and things like that. But for now, if you are interested, just pop your details on the wait list, which you will receive after the course, and I will get back to you with more information and also the payment options. So I think
And Rachel, I can tell that we will put this the record of this webinar in YouTube of Ukrainian Contact Center Association, and put all phone or mails in comments, so you can find them anywhere when you will find those video.
Yes, yeah. So the replay will be made available for everyone who signed up, and yes, we'll make it public. It will go out on YouTube for anyone who wants to watch. So I just, oh, you wanted to ask something? Yeah, go ahead, Camille.
Rachel, is the course going to be online? I mean, when I mean online, is it going to be a live course, or it's going to be like part of a learning management system?
Okay.
Or if you have not decided on that yet, I'm also okay with that.
Yeah, it's going to be on demand. So when you sign up, you'll receive videos, PDF, and workbooks, and you can go at your own pace. There's also a live option for Teams, but you know, you can let me know that in the email if you want to do that. My email will be available to everyone. But primarily it's an on-demand course, because then people can go at it at their own pace.
Yes, correct.
Go through the whole thing. So yeah, if there's, yeah. Are there any other questions about the course or anything else we spoke about today?
I don't see them in chat.
I just wanted to take a picture for LinkedIn. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to do that. Okay. So if everybody wants to smile. Oh, Rachel. Oh, okay. Let me just say, okay, wait, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on, fix the hair. Wait.
Yeah. But
1, 2, 3. Okay, lovely.
You can take it from the recording. And there's another participant wrote you that, Rachel, thank you for this webinar. Team is interesting and actual.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much.
Yes, Rachel, excellent job.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. So you will all get an email that just thanking you all for coming along. The replay, once I've edited it a little bit, will because we were chatting in the beginning, so that will come out to everybody. And if you are interested in the course, just join the wait list, and I'll be in touch with you guys before it gets released in October. But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it, and I will stay connected with everybody over LinkedIn. And it'll be great to just continue our conversations as we move through the rest of the year.